I don't know if this is working. See, I just had a cellular outage. I had a cell phone outage and my internet was down, and now here I am. The irony of this whole situation, the complete irony. Wow. That's kind of crazy. I'm gonna go into, I better turn these lights off. I got all these lights on in here. Got the cameras back there. Okay. Is this stream working? Let me know. I know there's an issue with technology lately. My internet's been acting funny. Cellular service has been coming and going. Cellular signals gone for half the day. Oh, and I uploaded a video about this last night. And, you know, I've been into radio communications for over 30 years. It started 35 years ago. And I've owned and operated, I can't even speak. I've owned and have operated two-way radio transceivers since I was 15, and I'm 52. And I've communicated all around the world with a room full of radios. And when you put over $60,000 into radio communications devices over the years, you know, this is going back a long time. And having a room solely dedicated to radio communications, and you worked for a cellular company back in the day before running your own business like I did, because I worked with a cellular company, and I've been into radio communications for so many years. So there's a lot of things that resonate with me on this whole topic about the cellular outage, you know, the cell phone outages. It really resonates with me. It's like, it's hitting me, it's hitting home for me. It really is. And unfortunately, when I made that video last night, there was an audio problem. There was an outage in the right channel of the audio. So there was an audio, the irony, there was an audio outage in the right channel. So those who are wearing headphones can only hear me in the left ear. So that was a big disappointment because it took me all day to edit that video. And so I was extremely upset. And then I come to realize that there were also 8 minutes of content that was missing from that video. And then there were about maybe 5 or 10 illustrations that were also missing that substantiated my findings, you know, my investigative report. So it was like, you know what? It's time for a do-over. It's time for a do-over because a lot of important information was missing. There was a problem with the audio. So you missed out on 8 minutes of very important information. I dug very deep into things. There was information missing in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. Illustrations were missing. I'm like, what's going on here? So I feel like technology is trying to hush me. Like somebody literally was trying to keep me quiet. And as soon as I uploaded on YouTube, barely anybody saw it. And I had a friend of mine who worked on the same topic. And within 24 hours, he got over 600,000 views on that video. And I'm like, okay, well, this is a friend of mine. You know, he and I share a lot of common interests. But the one thing that I have a lot more experience in is radio communications, considering my history with it and working for a wireless cellular company and going to cellular tower communication sites, going inside these rooms, they look like sheds, and seeing all the communication devices, all the communication hardware that's in these rack mounts inside these rooms where there's towers, there's antennas, there's satellite dishes at these cellular tower sites. I've been in there. I've done maintenance. I've sold products. I've promoted products. I've worked with the company. I've worked on both sides, on the repair and in the maintenance and everything. I've went inside numerous cellular tower. I call them repeater stations, repeater towers. They basically sell repeaters, just like radio stations have repeaters. They have you'll have a main location where you'll have a low power transmission coming from a radio station, which is basically their feed line, their feed transmission. It could be a totally different frequency, and it transmits to a repeater, which possibly could be 30, 40 miles away, and they could be putting out 50,000 watts on an antenna that's 500 feet in the air on a very, very tall tower. And in that room are radio transmitters and a receiver and a bunch of radio duplexers, which isolate the transmit and receive frequencies so they don't have any kind of interference, because you're taking a signal and you're retransmitting it, and you have to be able to isolate and filter that with a duplexer. So they'll have either a VHF, UHF duplexer. Most of these input frequencies might be on a UHF band. And so they'll have these duplexers, and some of them, there's even triplexers out there. And so they run these stations from remote. Cellular towers can run through remote, so they can run through a fiber optic system to relay information, and also a satellite system. And these are a lot of things that I've gotten into in that video, in addition to a lot of things that I investigated, and I come to some conclusions about why there was this outage and how it's going to lead to something else. And so there's a video coming tonight, and it's the complete final version of what I uploaded last night. That was a total fail. YouTube algorithm didn't pick it up right. It was a bad start from the beginning. I should have waited till today, because a lot of important details were missing in that video. The audio was so messed up, only the right side was working. It was distorted, and many illustrations were missing during my whole research, and that whole thing. It was just, to me, if I were to have graded that video, I would have given that like a D. Maybe a D+. Now, I get picky about things. Now, I feel like that should have been an A. So tonight's video is going to be a remake, and it's going to be done properly. It's going to be done with all the illustrations. It's going to be done with the additional 8 minutes of content that was missing, especially some crucial, very crucial information. God, I swear I might have had a stroke, because sometimes I feel like it could take me an hour just to say something that normally would take someone 10 minutes. Technology has become terrifying, I'm telling you right now. If you own a vehicle that is self-driving, because I've driven many vehicles that are self-driving. I've owned a Tesla, and there's another vehicle that I have that has some capabilities, and I don't want to get into it because for privacy reasons, and this crazy wacko nut job stalker, last thing I need to do is tell them, hey, this is the kind of car I'm driving now. I sold my Tesla. This is what I'm driving now. Hey, look at me, what color, this and that. Like, I'm trying not to do that right now. Maybe later on when things chill out and calm down, because I really want to share that kind of stuff, because I'm a car enthusiast. All right, I'm going to put these second set of eyes on and see what's happening here. Emerald, what's going on? I didn't notice on my end. I thought the video was great from last time. Thank you so much. Yeah, unfortunately, there was so much content missing from that video. I was in such a hurry to get it out there, and I realized, wait a minute. I just spent an hour recording content in addition to the time I put into that video, and that whole hour was missing, but that hour got broken down into 8 minutes. So there were 8 minutes of content out of an hour of recording that's missing. And there were numerous illustrations that were missing that substantiated my research, based on my knowledge from experience. The only research I really put into it was trying to find out what the hell was happening. Like, what the hell was going on? Why was there power out? Where was it? What company? And then all my experience and knowledge from radio communications over the last 35 years and working for a cellular company, having some inside information based on the innings of that whole situation, and in knowing, so much about technology in itself, and in putting the math, just putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and then verifying some sources of information online to see if the whole thing comes together properly. And then after my research, my investigation, I share my findings on YouTube. And most of that comes from my previous experience in the wireless communications field, radio communications field. I've always been into, astronomy. I've always been into just things that go on in this world with technology, the universe, nature in itself, the wonders of the world, science. I've had straight A's in science. Science was one of my favorite subjects. There was science and chemistry, and there were so many things that I just took interest in. So I see things on a different level than many see if they're not into that kind of thing. So it's very easy for me to get into a conversation with someone on the topic that has developed lately about these cellular outages, these cell phone outages, these wireless phone companies having issues. Now I get into details of whether or not there's some kind of a cover-up, if this is some kind of conspiracy, if this was a hijacking of the system, was this like cyber attacks, and was this something that's bigger and a sign of something that's to come? And so I dug into that and did some research in the past and went through my mental notes because of life experiences and certain circumstances that happened over the years that can relate to what just happened recently with the cell phone outages. So all this stuff that I'm putting together, I come to this conclusion that seems to be very logical, and then I'm sharing that. And a lot of that was left out on last night's video on the cell phone outage situation. So tonight, be ready for a remake of that with all new information added that was missing, including the illustrations. Now, I've said that before, but I know that some of you are just getting into the live stream. So I figured, if I just said it a couple times, if you're getting into here, you won't miss it. But that's what's going on. Technology is scary if you're driving in those autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars. If you're driving in cars that get get updates online. If you got vehicles that get the over-the-air updates, that could be a scary thing, especially if there was an update happening and then a cellular outage happens during that update. What do you think is going to happen to your vehicle? What do you think is going to happen to your vehicle? Just think about it when you have a computer and it's like in the middle of an update. It's like, it tells you, it's like, do not shut the computer down during an update. Do not turn it off. Do not shut down. Warning, do not, but what if there was a power outage? What if there was a EMF or there was electromagnetic energy? You got EMPs, you got EMFs, you have EMIs, electromagnetic interference, electromagnetic frequency. You have electromagnetic pulses. There's so many different things that have to do with electromagnetic energy. Okay, and I get into details about certain things related to that and how we should worry and we should be prepared for what's to come. And I saw this coming. We've had a taste of it a few years back where we had a widespread internet outage. I've had a taste of this when we had a situation with our water supply system malfunctioning where somebody hacked it. Now, I'm going to get into a lot of details on a lot of things in that video, so be sure to check it out tonight, as it's going to be the new and improved and fixed, because it was broken. The audio was broken, 8 minutes missing, illustrations missing. Some of the valuable points that I was trying to get to were missing in that video. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then when I uploaded it last night, YouTube did not push it. YouTube did not share it with barely anybody. it was very upsetting, very, very discouraging, considering that I resonate, that whole topic resonates with me. It's like, that is a big piece of me, that history. And it's like, of all the kinds of videos that I were to upload on YouTube, this one felt so, I guess, connected to me as a person. It was like a lot of my life experiences in technology and radio communications and cellular communications and electromagnetic energy and all the science involved. A lot of that really just resonates with me. It just makes me feel like I'm at home. And it just breaks my heart that that video did not do well. When I saw other people uploading same kinds of videos getting nearly 1 million views overnight, but yet I can guarantee many of those people are not invested into that kind of thing like I have been for the last 35 or so years and working in that field and having over $60,000 worth of radio communications equipment in a room, which I also share in that video. I've taken radio communications to a whole new level, and cellular communications is nothing but radio communications, but in a more personal and more practical application, because now your two-way transceiver, which is your wireless cell phone, is basically just a quieter version of a two-way radio transceiver. And it's in a full duplex mode, which means that it's simultaneously receiving and transmitting a signal at the same time, as opposed to a two-way radio, which is transmitting intermittently as you are pressing the button to transmit, and then you're letting go to receive. We're having a simultaneous transmission by a full duplex radio signal. So you're basically receiving and transmitting at the same time, was what a cell phone does. And so when it's transmitting that signal, you're within a few miles of a tower, which is high enough to pick up that signal, both sending and receiving at the same time. So the reason why your cell phone is going to use more energy when you're on the fringe of service is because then the variable power transmitting output, there's a transmitter that's in the cell phones that sends out a signal to a tower. And when you have a good signal from the tower, the cellular phone transmitter uses lower power settings to conserve energy and be practical. And it's better for the environment as well in the long run, especially when you're talking about the whole world with energy consumption, portable devices, electromagnetic fields coming from radio communications devices such as cellular phones, because they produce electromagnetic energy, radio energy, just like Wi-Fi does, And so with the cellular communications, when you are closer to the cellular towers, the power is throttled down. Now, there's different technology and different kinds of cellular devices. You have your analog devices from years ago with different kinds of technology, and some of these devices were putting out a lot more power, which I would consider not as environmentally friendly or friendly for you as a person, with having excessive RF energy, relative frequency energy it's called. When you have RF energy that's penetrating through your body, and we have a resonance wavelength in our body. We have a frequency, a wavelength, right? Now, in the cellular phones, there is a, UHF, all right? So you have ultra high frequency UHF band, 700, 800 megahertz, 900 megahertz, 1200, 13. You have your frequencies of cellular phone output, right? So, the higher bandwidth, higher wavelength. Think about this. You have higher frequencies that can penetrate through smaller openings. Lower frequencies need bigger openings. So lower frequencies need bigger antennas. Higher frequencies require smaller antennas. Now with higher frequencies, it's requiring more of a line of sight, because the higher the frequency goes, the more direct the transmission is. The lower the frequency goes, the less line of sight it is. So there's more curvature of the electromagnetic signal, the radio signal, as you go lower in frequency. And so when you go to a very low frequency, then the radio signal starts to propagate around the earth, right in the ionosphere. It's bouncing around between the ionosphere and the Earth, and it's following a path of curvature. And radio signals, natural, communication is line of sight. But as the frequency lowers, the radio signal starts to bend due to the atmospheric conditions and the propagation around the world. And this is why a lot of people communicate around the world on lower frequency radio communication devices, because that signal could propagate and there's conditions that can be ideal for worldwide communications. And the solar activity, the solar storms, the sunspots could have a big impact on radio communications, especially low frequency radio communications around the world. And the other issue when it comes to high frequency, UHF, ultra high frequency, VHF, very high frequency radio communications, is that the higher the frequency you go, the more direct line of sight is required. And then the more power you're going to need as well to have the same results. And unfortunately, as we go higher in frequency, our cell phones are putting out higher power to get the same job done as older phones on a lower frequency. And unfortunately, the technology in the past, the power output was higher, which kind of negated a lot of the things, but the frequency were also lower, 900, 800 megahertz. And a lot of that information that was being sent through the cellular network was not digitally changed or altered. It was all analog. So anybody who had a scanner, police scanner, can hear you having a cellular conversation on a phone, back in the day. Now everything is digital, it's encrypted, you have privacy, there's a lot of different things that are happening now. But the scary thing is, with our technology evolving, besides the exposure to RF energy, relative frequency energy, electromagnetic energy, because RF is relative frequency. It's relative energy based on the wavelength and frequency of a device. So basically, your wavelength is a measurement of the frequency output of a device. So your antenna could be a 3/4, a 3/8, quarter wave, a half wave, 5/8 wave, and these measurements are all mathematically figured out by the frequency, and you come up with an actual antenna length based on the frequency and wavelength you are trying to select. And so with these cellular antennas, you're going to have different kinds of radio setups. Like with radio stations, a lot of these radio stations have directional antennas or omnidirectional antennas. Now, the directional antennas basically will direct a signal to a certain geographical area to allow that concentrated signal from the radio station to be in a specific point, especially if there was any adjacent radio stations within a 75-mile radius of that radio station. As per FCC rules, the Federal Communications Commission, there are certain limitations in laws that have to be followed as far as locations of radio stations and frequencies that are allocated for radio stations that broadcast. And in some situations, there has to be directional antennas to direct the signal away from an adjacent radio station so that it does not cause any interference to another radio station that could be on a nearby frequency. And there could be some power throttling. There could be a lot of different things. And also the emergency alert system. You have to have it integrated into the radio communications, your radio station. And so all these things could be interacting with each other. And ultimately, it all ends up being connected through a satellite system up in space, where you have satellites orbiting the Earth 1,000 or so miles way up there, okay? So we're talking above the ozone layer, to where the satellites are now vulnerable to the exposure of unfiltered radiation from the sun and unfiltered protection from the electromagnetic forces, fields, electromagnetic energy that's being produced from the sun, especially during these intense solar flares. So there's a lot of details that's in the video up for tonight. I mean, what I was talking about now, I was kind of going in a different direction. So, the video is really just me digging deeply into the whole thing. But me just talking to you right now is just me expressing just my passion for radio communications and the science of it all, and my 35 years of just being so associated with it as a hobby, as a profession, so many levels. And so when I did that video last night, it really just seemed to click with me. And I'm like, man, this is heartbreaking because that video did not do well. And I'm thinking, if all the videos that I would ever do, I do a video about something I have a passion about, and then it's like a kick in the ass, like, oh, it just didn't do well. Like, I had a friend who did a video and it got almost over 500,000 views, and I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong here? I thought this was gonna be a winner again. I was like, I did the alien content, I have a curiosity about aliens and the unknown thing like that. That's something, but this whole radio thing is like, this is the number one priority for me. Like, this is it. And it was like a slap in my face that YouTube tells me your video got 40% less views than your other videos. And I'm like, really? When I did a topic on the alien thing, that shit took off, man. My YouTube's like, you got 15 times the amount of views, 1,500%. Wow, you're doing good. And I'm like, well, you ain't seen nothing yet, because maybe something's going to happen sometime in the future that's going to resonate with me really, really nicely. And it's going to be a topic that I'm interested in. I'm thinking, well, the only thing that really would work well with me would be either muscle cars, high-tech supercars, or radio communications and cellular communications, and things about any kind of electromagnetic energy. Things in the realm of science. And so if any of that were to surface, I'm like, man, I'm in my happy place. But then it took away my happiness when I saw how terribly it did on YouTube. And I didn't even ask for, much, with the whole YouTube thing. I was just enjoying it, and it just broke my heart. Let me see who's out here. We have Rachel. How you doing? Emerald, that sucks. Creepy. Oh my gosh. The 1K views, enjoyed it. Appreciate the thank you so much, Abby. How's everything going? Hey, Rachel, how you doing? Don't trust. Alexa, mine has been active. You know what? This is another topic. I'm telling you, Alexa devices, AI devices. Now, does anybody have an Alexa show where it has the camera and a screen? Let me know. And even if you just have your regular Alexa devices that have a mute button, do you really think the mute button is giving you a sense of privacy? Or is it giving you a sense of false privacy? Because you might think, oh, well, I'm going to have a private conversation with family or a friend of mine or a business colleague or a doctor, and then you decide to go mute your Alexa because you don't want your device like listening to medically sensitive information or financial information or something personal about a friend or family. So you hit the mute button, right? Thinking, oh, everything's okay, But do you think it's really muting you? Or do you think the mute button is only turning off the trigger? The Alexa devices have a trigger sequence. So basically there is a set amount of trigger words that are pre-programmed. And so when you say the wake word, then that wake word will initiate Alexa to wait for further communications, to give it commands. So when you hit the mute button, I'm thinking theoretically, fuck that, I can't even say it now. I've been slapped in the head too hard. Basically, you may be just turning off the response to the wake word, but it may still be listening to you, but just not responding to any of the wake words, giving you a false sense of privacy. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going on, but that's what I suspect, that I feel like it's not really shutting the mic off. It's only just disengaging the response to any of the wake words, but it still can potentially hear what you're saying. And then you still get advertisements based on that on your other smart devices because they're all linked together. Lovely, isn't it lovely? you opt into that, right? When you sign the privacy, a long page of this is everything you signed before signing up, and you read it all. If you have the time to read it all, you might learn something about that. I'm okay. Woke up some bad news Thursday. Oh, my condolences to you, Rachel. February was not a good year last year for me, as I lost a family member in February, and I didn't find out about it till 6 months later, which was even more heartbreaking. But my condolences are out to you. But Omar too, he has been watching him for a long time. Yes, Omar, one of my best friends there. Yeah, see the 1K views, Abby, based on the high amount of interest and experience I have in the radio communications and cellular communications, and just how it resonates with me and my enthusiasm and energy. I feel like that 1,000 views overnight should have been somewhere aligned with what my best friend Omar did on the same topic. It should have been in that kind of a category. It should have been somewhere in that realm. But to wake up and it only had 800 views, and I think maybe it hit 1,000 by now, but waking up in the morning, I'm like, man, that's a slap in the face for all that time I put into the video. So maybe this video that's gonna be uploaded tonight, which is gonna have some content from that, but a lot of missing content, 8 minutes of missing content, a lot of illustrations and details that were missed, and the audio problem that was there is not gonna no longer be there. So I'm hoping that's gonna get a better chance. And if you can, when you see that video, please smash the like button on there and share it on social media, share it on YouTube, share it everywhere. This would really make my heart feel much better, because I feel brokenhearted and I feel like I was slapped in the face, and I feel like somebody's trying to censor me or trying to keep me quiet. Just when I get into, a topic and I find some answers and the probability of this being that or that being this, and then I feel like somebody behind the curtains has some way to manipulate the YouTube algorithm and cause a video that I upload to not do well. Now, I don't know if this is an inside thing or if this is somebody who is going behind my back and telling people to dislike the video or whatever, but the video did get good ratings. I'm not gonna lie, that it did do well. So I don't know what the reason is, unless YouTube has shadow banned me because I made too many paranormal videos. I really don't know. But then I have other friends who make paranormal videos, and their YouTube channels are doing just fine, and they're not shadow banned. So I don't know what it is. Did I say too many curse words in some of the videos? I'm so clueless. Maybe it's a technical issue, and I've just got to figure a way around this issue. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's because there's a sign that I had to re-upload the video and get it right. So the second time around, it's going to be done right. It's going to be done properly. The audio is not going to be screwed up. The missing content's not going to be missing. It's crazy, the irony. The audio outage in the right speaker, the right side. If you had headphones, you'd only hear me out of the left ear. How annoying is that? And for some devices, if your left speaker's not working, then you don't hear me at all. What are the odds of that, right? And that's kind of what I'm up against. You guys are awesome. Smash that like button. Show some love in this live stream. I know I end up being late as always to my live streams, but this time I had a technical issue. I couldn't get onto the internet. I'm like, oh damn, my cellular service. I had a SOS again. I'm like, why am I having SOS? Like, this is not like 3 days ago. Like this, what is this, deja vu? So then I turned my phone off, turned it back on, and everything was fine. Then I finally got into my live stream and started it. But man, what a pain in the ass that was. I'm telling you, it's a pain in the ass. Anyway, it's a beautiful day outside. It was like, 75, I think? I don't even know. It was nice. Nice weather. I know it's probably like 80 degrees if I were to go to Florida, which I was there again recently, trying to get away from things, trying to get away from a lot of things stressing me out. So did go on a road trip, did record some content. I just was hesitant to share it. And another thing is I missed some content too. I uploaded some stuff and then I look back and say, son of a bitch, there's like 5 minutes of video content that I just left out of that video that I did the other day before the video about the cell phone outages. I'm like, I'm on the roll, aren't I? I'm like, I'm missing out on, like, you guys are missing out because I'm leaving out content. Like accidentally misplacing this, misplacing that, forgetting I have this content there. Because a lot of times when I make a content, like make a video, I don't know if my blood pressure has caused me to have a stroke, and then maybe I have my on days and my off days. Maybe I have my good days and my bad days. But there's some days where it could take me an hour just to say a 20-minute segment in a video because I fuck up. I'm stuttering and I'm saying weird words that don't even make sense. I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like, who the hell am I? Am I being possessed by a fucking alien? Like, what was that coming out of my mouth? I'm like, you have cellular phones. I'm like, cellular phone. I'm like, cellular phones. I'm like, what the hell did I just say? Cellular phones. And I'm just like, cellular phone. I'm like, okay. Somebody like spiked my food with some kind of medication. Like sometimes I have these days and I don't, it's like, I think it, but when I speak it, it comes out like my mouth's not cooperating. And so having an hour of that happen in a 20-minute segment, there's a lot of damn time that I have to put into trying to pick out the good parts of the video and cut out this and cut out that and piece this together. And it's a pain in the ass. I wish that I could just speak my mind fluently without all this BS and retakes, redos, poke around in the video clips trying to pick out the parts that make sense and leave out the parts that make me look like I just started my beginning of dementia. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I talk like I've lost my mind. And so I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the overwhelming stress that I'm dealing with. And then my mind just starts thinking about things. And then I'm trying to articulate this, or I'm trying to say this, I'm trying to say that. And then my mind's getting ahead of me and my mouth is just not keeping up with my mind. I don't know what it is. But when I talk to people in person, everything is fine. I feel like maybe when I'm home alone and I'm not around people, as soon as I turn on the camera, it's like I'm just trying to spill out everything that I'm thinking as fast as I can. And then my mouth is just not keeping up with my brain. And it causes me to stutter and say words that don't exist. It almost sounds like I'm speaking an alien language from another world somewhere. And I don't know if you've ever dealt with that before. Like if your mind just thinks faster than your mouth. Because there are a lot of things where like, you give me a mathematical equation or you give me a scientific question and it's like my brain is turning gears really fast and I'm coming up with these answers and it's like, boom. But then I try to spit it out and my mouth's like, bleh, bleh, bleh. My brain knows what's going on, but my mouth is like not keeping up. And there's times where I feel like I can't remember if I said something because I get so wrapped up and so caught up in delivering my thoughts, because I'm excited about something or something just resonates with me and I just can't wait to share it. And so then I start to share it, I speak about it, and then I'll have a mess up. It'll be a verbal mess up. It'll be a stutter. It'll be a weird word that comes out of nowhere. And so then I'll redo it again, and I'll say it again. And then later on in the video, I may have forgotten that I've already said a certain thing, and then I'll say it again because I wasn't sure if I said it or if I said it right or if I messed up. And then I was like, well, I might have messed that one up. And maybe I moved on to something else. So let me go ahead and just say this again, just in case I either didn't say it or I didn't say it to its completion, or maybe I messed it up. And so I say it again. And then when I edit everything together, and maybe something was spoken in the beginning of the video, and then as I'm going through the rest of the video, I may have forgotten where I was in the video and where I said something. And if I said something in the beginning and then I say it again towards the end and it's the same thing but said differently, and it's like I'm repeating myself, it's like I get caught up in, so many different edits and so many different parts of the videos that I forget what I've already spoken. And then after I watch it later, when I have time, because sometimes I don't have time to watch it, I just like, okay, let me just get this shit uploaded. I put a lot of time into what it is. I really gotta eat something. I gotta go for a walk. Let me just upload it, go for my walk, come back, and see where we are. And a lot of times I find myself repeating myself, even in a live stream. It's like I'll forget that I said something, and I'm not sure if I said it properly or if I missed out details or if I said it in a previous live stream, or sometimes I get my timelines messed up and I don't remember. Wait a minute, did I say it today, or was that something I said last week, or is that something I said to a friend of mine? And now I'm in a live stream, so did I just say that to my friend or the live stream? But maybe I don't know. But to be safe, I'm just going to say it here. And if I've already said it, then it's like I said it again. So am I dealing with dementia, Alzheimer's? What the hell's going on with me? Did I have a stroke? Am I forgetting things? Because I feel like there's days where my mouth, I just feel like I have days where I'm sharper, where I feel like I'm more on top of everything, where, I can speak my mind and it not be uncoordinated. I feel like I just have a more self-awareness and I'm more aware of my surroundings. And I feel like sometimes I have tunnel vision and sometimes I get fixated on something and then I lose focus of everything around me. And I just go into this other world and I don't know. Like I'll be working on a project, like I'll be doing something in the living room, right? And then something will happen in the living room, like maybe I'll spill a little bit of water on the floor and then I get like, oh crap, I got water on the couch. I'll get water on the couch. I'm like, well, damn, I'm in the middle of doing this. Now I got water on the couch. So then I stop what I'm doing to dry off the couch and fix the issue, right? So then now I have a wet rag from trying to dry off a wet couch. So then now I'm like, okay, well, I got a wet rag. I don't want the wet rag to sit around because now it's going to get moldy and mildewy. So now I got to dry the rag off because I can't have it continually staying wet after I just wiped up some water off the couch. So then now I'm taking a hairdryer and drying off the rag so it doesn't get mildewy. And then now I cannot put the hairdryer away because now I'm afraid, well, the hairdryer is going to be really hot. I don't want to put it away because what if I put it in the drawer and it catches fire? Because now it's super hot. I can't put it away. So then I'm sitting there waiting and blowing on it, and I'm like, now, man, I'm getting a little dizzy. So now I got to go outside, get some fresh air because I was getting dizzy blowing in the damn hairdryer, trying to cool it up before I put it away so I don't burn the house down, because who wants to burn the house down? I don't want to do that. I'm sure nobody else wants to. Then I'm getting a little lightheaded because I'm like, some hair dryers, you have a cold button on there. You could turn the cold button on and then press the button and it makes the air come out cold. You cool the coils down, you put the hair dryer away. But the one I have doesn't do that because the one that I did have did it, but it stopped working. So then I go outside to get some fresh air, and then I look around and say, well, damn, it's really nice out here. I really should just go for a jog. And then I end up going for a jog, okay? So then I'm jogging through the neighborhood, and then I come back in the house, and I'm like, oh, man, the pollen count's high, my throat's itching me. Now I feel like I got to take a shower, I got to change my clothes. And in the meantime, I was in the middle of doing, cleaning the living room. And I just clean up the wet spot on the couch, dried off the rag with the hair dryer, blew the hair dryer, made me lightheaded, go outside to get some deep breaths of air, realized maybe it was best for me to go for a walk, leading me for the walk and the jog. And then, then I start obsessing about the pollen on my clothes. And then I'm like, oh, my throat's going to be itching. And I started itching. And I'm like, I'm going to start sneezing. I better go change my clothes, I'll take a shower. And then when I take a shower, it's like, well, damn, now I got to finish cleaning. But now if I'm going to clean, I'm going to get dirty because I just took a shower. So then now it's like, what do I do now? What do I do? Now I'm taking a shower. I'm clean. Do I finish cleaning? I'm like, well, damn, And so then I do something else. I go in the kitchen. I start tidying up the kitchen. I start, polishing the countertops, just doing things in the kitchen. And then I'll have me a glass of water and, and then I'll look and I'll see a ring, like a water ring on the countertop because I put the glass down like, oh shit, now there's a water ring on the counter. So then I go grab a rag to wipe the water ring off the counter. And then here we are again. The rag's getting wet. I go get the hair dryer. I dry off the rag. I blow the hair dryer off. Guess where I am? Going back outside again. Oh man, now I got to take another shower because I went outside and now the pollen's on my clothes. And I come back in the house and I'm like, do I take a shower or do I finish cleaning the living room? Because now I'm dirty. I can just go in the living room and finish cleaning since I'm already dirty. I got pollen on me. So I was like, okay, maybe I will clean. I'll finish what I started. Okay, so then I attempt to finish what I'm starting, and then I start sneezing. I'm like, son of a bitch, maybe I need to go take a shower. So then I go take a shower. And then when I get out, I'm like, well, now I got pollen in the house because I was outside in the pollen. I came in the house. Now pollen's on the rug from me having pollen on my clothes and decided to clean the house after coming straight in from outside because juniper pollen is crazy right now this time of year, and it just makes me miserable. So then now I have to vacuum again with a HEPA vacuum, have my HEPA filters running full time. And now I'm at the situation where, I want to eat something. I still have to finish cleaning in the kitchen because I was just polishing the countertops. Then I had my cup of water, made another water ring. And so I feel like these things are a distraction. And I go through this very often. I feel like things don't have to be this complicated. It really doesn't have to be this complicated. So this is pretty much some of my daily activities in a nutshell. You might think I've lost my mind. Like, what is up with this guy? Like, what is he doing? But that's what happens to me. It's like I jump onto one thing, and then I get distracted, and then I'm onto another thing, and then something happens, and then I got to fix the problem right there on the spot. I can't just let it ride. I can't just okay, well, yeah, well, that happened. Yeah, well, oh, well, that's what happens, and then move on. No, it's like, now I've got to fix that problem. Like, that problem has to be addressed, right? And at the same time, I'm thinking, well, that needs to be sick. That needs to be fixed. This needs to be done. That needs to be done. So then I feel like I'm jumping around to different places. Like, I'm hopping here, doing this, hopping there, doing that. I'm like, what am I doing first? What is the most important thing that needs to be done? What is the most important? Then I'm looking outside. It's like, son of a bitch, it's getting dark outside. And I wanted to get enough daylight on me to get vitamins. I wanted to get my vitamin D from natural sunlight. And so I start getting upset about that. I'm like, well, I spent too much time in the house cleaning. I went outside. I came back in. It was disruption. It was a major disruption. All because I was trying to prevent a rag from getting mildewy, and I didn't want the hairdryer to catch on fire. So I go outside after I blew in it because I got lightheaded. And of course, the attraction of Mother Nature and the sunshine. And I'm like, man, you know what? It's probably going to rain later, so maybe I need to walk now before it rains. And so all this is going through my head. And then I'll notice something. I'll be outside. And there's a time where I'll be outside. I'm like, son of a bitch, there's a bunch of leaves in the driveway. I want to go on my walk, but now I see leaves in the driveway. Now, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? If I sweep up the leaves, if I get the leaf blower, blow the leaves away, and then a big cloud's going to come out of the sky, and now it's going to rain. And or should I do it now? Because if it rains, then the leaves get stuck to the driveway, and it's harder to make the leaves go away because then they kind of get glued to the driveway. You ever see wet leaves on a driveway? You ever try sweeping wet leaves off a driveway? I mean, it's difficult. It's like you need to get a scraper. And don't even go there with a leaf blower. You try to use a leaf blower to blow leaves off a driveway while they're wet, you might as well just give it up. And so these things are going through my mind as I'm going outside and I'm looking around because, of course, I have to take an assessment. Of course, I have to look at the house. Of course, I just can't look at the road and say, it's time to walk. No, I have to look at the house. I got to look at the driveway. I got to look at the sidewalk. I got to see the leaves. I struggle with this all the time. I struggle with these things. It's an ongoing thing with me. Like right now, the fireplace is off. I can't have that. It's like I have to have the fireplace on. Like, I have to have it on. And like outside, the wind blew the pillow cover. It made it crooked. I'm like looking at it, it's like, okay, let me stand over here. I'm going to look at I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't like what I'm looking at. I got to go out there and fix it. But I know if I go outside, because we got juniper in the back. I mean, abundance of juniper back there. I'm like, juniper, allergies, I go out there to fix that pillow. I'm going to be sneezing my ass off. Then I have to take a shower, change my clothes. So I got to deal with looking at that, causing me anxiety. So then what do? I end up going out there to deal with it. And then, you know how many showers I take a day? This is what creates anxiety, because now I'm dealing with a water bill, and I look at the water bill and I'm like, are you kidding me? Why is my water bill so high? Why is it so high? Oh yeah, I just took 3 showers yesterday. I went for a walk. I wasn't done walking. Like, if I am done walking for the day, I'll take my shower. If I am not done walking, and I don't want to be miserable with having pollen on me and dragging it through the house and feel like I'm changing my clothes for no reason if I don't take a shower. Because if I just change my clothes, I'm like, well, I just wasted changing clothes, because now my clothes are not going to be any better on me without me being showered first. So, if you go for a walk, come back and have lunch, that's a struggle, because, I ended up changing my routine to where my lunch and breakfast are both together. Like, I have lunch and breakfast together. I stopped doing breakfast, then lunch, because it broke up my day. It interfered with me going outside, especially this time of year where the juniper pollen is ridiculous and very, very disruptive to my routine. I think there's another month left for me to suffer when I go outdoors. It's kind of hit or miss. Some days it's fine. I don't have any allergy, any reactions, and some days it's like miserable. Luckily, it hasn't been as bad as it has been last year, so that's a good sign, but I try to be cautious. Let's see who's out here in this stream. I know I've been rambling on. You just like a clean house and around your house. I understand that. There you go, Sylvester Lett. Smoke some weed. You're killing me, Ron. Oh no. Karen, what's going on? Yeah, I have my new spectacles here, my new glasses. You're funny, Bobby. I'm telling you, my life is boring because there's nobody here but me and AI devices. And once in a while, I'll have a good friend come over, and I'll have a good friend travel from, up north and stay for a week. And I have another friend who'll be visiting. So, I have my moments, my good moments and my bad moments, but try to make the best of things here. How is your sleep? Do you get plenty of rest? Perhaps try mentioning the calm. I have been going to bed about an hour to an hour and a half earlier. Matter of fact, I started doing that last month because when I started that new job, which ended up being in my life, it was like this. I kind of got hired before I got fired and hired. It's all like being hired and fired at the same time. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because somebody calls me and verified, did you have a YouTube channel? Of course I said, yeah. I should have said no, but then they probably would have said, well, it looks like you. And maybe they didn't like me doing alien videos. Really, it's the only thing I can figure out. Aliens or UFOs or stalker videos or paranormal videos. They're probably like, I don't want that guy in here. He's probably unstable. I mean, he believes he has ghosts in his house. He believes the aliens are taking over the world, or maybe he thinks that. I don't know. He didn't say it, maybe. I didn't say it. Did I? No. But he may think just because I'm talking about it and injecting my opinions and my knowledge about certain things in regards to science and technology and the wonders of the world, they might think that maybe I have one of those nut jobs, unhireable or fireable, that is. And so well, if that's the way I'm going to be treated, then I guess I don't need to work for your company. And then, of course, I get a job offer from another company, doesn't pay as well. Then I find out the company is kind of shady, borderline. To me, I felt like it was like they were right there at that line, the threshold of on the side of good and evil. I'm like, I don't want to work for this company. I feel like they're too worried about their bottom line. They're too worried about making money. They're not worried about their clients. They're not worried about the consumers. They're worried about their bottom line. And so basically, they're going to deprive their clients and their customers the quality they deserve and pay for. So basically, they're delivering a lower quality product at a higher price by misrepresentation of such products. So, hey, if that's how things are going to be here in Georgia, I might as well just go somewhere else. I'm like, maybe I go to North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe go into Florida. I got to figure out something. So that's kind of what happened to me. And so now once again, I don't know if you call it unemployed or now I'm just fully self-employed again. Because it's not like I'm unemployed. I do have income, but it's laughable. It's like, I don't know. As I say, I cannot live off of $600 to $800 a month. In January, it was down to like $400 a month. And now it went back up a little bit into February, but still, there's no way that I can continue to survive on that with the expenses that I have maintaining this home, maintaining everything involved with it. I mean, I have free electric because I have solar panels and battery backup, which was paid for in advance before I started realizing that I was spending money that I should have kept in my retirement. I didn't think I was going to be around much longer because I thought I had, which I still don't know for sure. I do have a CT scan coming up next week. I'm getting a little nervous about these CT scans because I've already had CT scans and I'm afraid each time I go. Here we go. Technology. CT scans. All right. Emitting radiation, electromagnetic energy, radiation, radio frequency, high frequency. Okay. You have radiating ions going through your body. You have, your body's being radiated by this machine. And it's resonating through your body, right? All this energy is going in your body. Now, repeated exposure to gamma radiation, X-rays, could increase the risk of cancers. And it causes mutations in your DNA, your cellular mutations. It can cause issues and your body has to repair itself, So your body goes through a recovery process. So, extensive CT scans could increase the risk of cancers, especially cancers in your blood. And so, I'm trying to limit my exposure to CT scans, because they're like 100 times more intrusive than an X-ray. And so with that said, it's like, you're basically taking 4 years of natural radiation exposure within your environment and concentrated in one visit to the doctor doing a CT scan. So that's like 4 years of my life that I got to worry about. It's like putting it into and condensing all that exposure into one day. And like, well, now we're talking about, a pelvic and we're talking about a chest and pelvic and abdominal CT scan. So we're talking about basically the whole body. I'm like, this is very concerning. So I actually did push over one of my CT scan appointments down the road, kind of kicking the can down the road saying, look, let me just let's move it down. I really just, I'm trying to live for now. And so that's kind of where I had been because I know the potential, molecular damage. I know that what it can do to your cellular damage, what it can do to your body, exposure to radiation. So that's my concern. And so I keep putting that off. Try some daily affirmations. There you go. Hey, how you doing? Oh, man, you're killing me. Mamma mia. I wish there were more people. I wish there was more of you guys here. If you can spread the word that I'm doing a live stream, probably nobody really cares besides you guys. I just wish that more people would be able to watch my content, with having 200,000 subscribers here. It breaks my heart that, only 30 or 40 people are here. So I'm thankful that you're here, but it breaks my heart that so many other people are missing. And there's some regulars that used to come to my live streams that are not here anymore, and I miss them. And I'm thankful for you being here. But it's like when you have a family reunion and you're used to everybody being at a family reunion, and then say you go to a family reunion one year and there's like 10 or 20 people missing, you're gonna be like disappointed that they're missing, even though you're happy for the people that showed up at the reunion. You're just feeling sad for the people that did not show up. And so I'm feeling these mixed emotions as I do a live stream because there's so many people that are not here. And so it's heartbreaking because it's like things were so much better with YouTube years ago where, I had just felt so much happier because everybody showed up to get together for the live stream. It was a magical moment. And I do have the members area, and I miss having the members where I can share some of that exclusive content and some of my daily activities or pictures of what's happening in my life, that only members get to see, because some things are just, there for members as well, and I feel like YouTube is not pushing these notifications out to members because I don't have enough members. I think I have like 19 members right now. If I can get like 50 members, I feel like that would help the YouTube algorithm. Maybe that will start working where existing members won't miss out on things, miss out on my new posts, my members only posts, my early access videos. Because I've been uploading, members only videos and links to early access videos, and nobody's watching them. Maybe one person out of the members or two people watch them. And I'm like, something's not right. And the only thing I can figure is YouTube's algorithm is just saying, oh, he doesn't have enough members, people are lacking interest, so they use their resources elsewhere to promote people's videos. So I feel like I'm being held back by not having enough members in the members area, and it sucks. And I don't know what happened, but I feel like these people who were sabotaging YouTube content creators, they were sabotaging some of my best friends who were making paranormal videos by debunking their content, making them look like liars and making them look bad, and then just lying to their subscribers, trying to get their members to unsubscribe. And, they were just going around behind people's backs, just being very deceptive and just being rude and mean. And if this was a business situation, this would be like, okay, well, we're going to have a lawsuit because they were, causing, a failure of a business. This is defamation of a YouTube content creator by saying that the content that they create is fake, or, trying to, destroy their YouTube reputation and any livelihood that they may have if it was a business. If you work for a company and you start bad-mouthing the company that you worked for because you didn't like how they worked, and you signed an NDA or something, then you might be on the hook for that, right? But if you didn't sign the NDA and you had a bad experience for a company, as long as you were honest about your experience and you didn't just make up something out of your head to try to, put the business down, then everything is fine. But if you lied about something to make a business fail, to make them look bad, then you could be on the hook and be liable for those statements, for what you said that could affect the business. And so there are people that were attacking YouTube content creators, saying this about their content, that about their content, saying that they have fake ghost videos, they have fake this, and then they're losing subscribers. But yet they're saying this out of speculation. They're not saying this out of actual proof. And I think they say this to try to intentionally harm these YouTube content creators while trying to have some kind of personal gain out of it, because when they're doing such, they're getting views from people who are curious and wanting to know what's going on. So now they're creating this false image of content creators that are doing paranormal videos, making them look like they're fakes and phonies, and that people don't want to watch them anymore. And so I feel like when somebody does that to somebody, they should be penalized for doing that. And the person who is the victim of such actions should be able to collect some kind of monetary reward or recoup monetary damages for that kind of activity, for trying to make a YouTube channel fail by saying this or that just because they think something, but without the proof that this is fake or that is fake. You have the bunkers out there that will just automatically say, oh yeah, he used a fishing line, or he used this or that, without the facts, just assumptions. And then when you throw assumptions out there, then you're making people look bad. And so somebody loses out on that. Somebody loses their future on YouTube, and people who are making money doing this, they lose a financial part of it. And so I feel like somebody needs to be responsible for those losses, because if you're dishonest about a business and then you give them a 1-star review and you have a negative review about the business, and everything about that is false information to make the business look bad, and you are just trying to put the business out of business, or you're trying to scare their customers away, then I feel like that, yeah, the company should come after you for monetary damages for loss of business and loss of income. And I feel like I'm entitled to loss of income because there was some revenue involved in some of those videos. And I feel like that these people who attacked my channels and tried to make my content look illegitimate to the point where they think I'm just making everything up about paranormal, and that I'm lying to my viewers and everything is fake and there's dishonesty when it comes to the content, like this and that, making me look bad as a person, making me look bad as a YouTube content creator, and ultimately affects my future on YouTube and potential opportunities to make money doing something that I have a passion for. So the revenue opportunities, making money from YouTube has been damaged because of these people who would put down my videos because they were just trying to get views, saying this was fake, that was fake. I made disclaimers on my YouTube content on my channel that cover everything from what could be real and what could be fictional and what is reenactment and what's for entertainment purposes and educational purposes. And what's not right is that these people who debunk YouTube videos, they go in blindly, not even considering any of the channel disclaimers about the content, not considering the possibility. Because yeah, I understand if someone were to make a reenactment of a situation or somebody made fictional content, I understand if somebody does that and there's an expectation of a variety of content, whether it's reality or fictional, and there's a disclaimer that indicates that at any given moment that content on such channel could be fictional or real or a reenactment, or it could be any of the above. And I feel like if a person does exercise what's written in the disclaimer and is reflected in the content that they upload, that they should not be called a liar, a phony, a fake, someone who doesn't care about their viewers and they're just misleading their viewers. I feel like that is wrong for someone to say about a YouTube content creator if they don't understand the kind of content and the intentions behind the content being delivered on such channels. That's where these people have gone wrong, because they totally disregard the disclaimers. They totally disregard the history of my YouTube channels and what has developed over time. There is a pattern. There is a known concept that's going on in my content that is shared with everybody. And people who have been subscribed to me for many years know my true passion and know my intentions behind the content that I share and know the possibility of what's real and what's reenactment, what's fictional, and what's just made for entertainment purposes. People know. I'm sure you know the difference. I'm not trying to fool anybody. I'm not trying to trick anybody. The only thing that I do on this platform is to reach out to the world, entertain people, bring excitement to the channel, help keep people from being bored. Now, if I were to share just an everyday, actual day in my life, outside the paranormal and stalker realm and all the other things that happen in many people's lives, or some people's lives, I feel like my life would be rather boring and it would be a disservice to you. It would be a disservice to many people on YouTube for me to just go through a whole video and it just be nothing but a day in my life, which would probably be just as boring as going to a senior citizen center on a Sunday afternoon. I don't know. I just feel like, what is so entertaining about my life if I'm not being harassed by stalkers, if I'm not being curious about the paranormal and I'm not in an environment where it seems like there's ghosts throwing things around or something crazy is happening, or I'm investigating some place that could be paranormal and I could be haunted, or I end up being, caught up in a situation where something draws my attention and I go investigate it and find out that this is interesting and intriguing and there's a trending topic on YouTube about it. And so then I start to get into that topic, and I feel like then things become entertaining. Once I hit a topic that's interesting on YouTube, such as the alien situation or the cellular phone situation, or things that people find interesting. I just don't see what's so interesting about my everyday life. Me cleaning the house, me eating my lunch, going for a walk in the neighborhood, going to the grocery store, taking a shower, Probably thought I was saying the other word. All these things, like, how is that going to be like a service to you as a viewer? Like, how is that going to be entertainment? How is that going to be like, oh, wow, I can't wait to see Bobby's day and, what's going on in Bobby's life. Oh, it's just another day. He's still alive. He's breathing, he's talking. That's kind of how it is. Like, if you have that kind of day every day where it's quiet, boring, nothing's going on, because you don't draw attention to anything to create anything, because, we all know how the paranormal works, right? If you draw attention to it, then maybe it starts to react to your attention. And then now you have a show, now you have entertainment, right? But when you decide that you're done drawing attention from it and you just want to focus on something else because you feel like the attention that you're trying to get from it only makes you look bad, because then people think you're crazy. And then it causes anxiety and stress, and it makes you feel bad about yourself, and then you think you're going crazy. So then you try to avoid the whole thing, and then you just try to live your life and ignore things you hear, lights flickering, chairs moving, cabinets slamming shut, doors moving, things like that. It's like you pretend it's not happening, and then you're like, the last thing you want to do is grab a camera because you don't want to feed into it. So then you just try to avoid those things, and then things quiet down. And so then you move on from that. And then now we are in the time in my life where I'm dealing with a lot of medical uncertainties, going back and forth to the doctors. And there's a lot of things that I cannot share when it comes to going to doctors and the cancer specialists and the gastroenterologists and, going to the cardiologist. Like, there's things that, for medical reasons, for HIPAA reasons, and just for personal privacy, I just can't share all that. And I don't think that's really a form of entertainment. So things that go on in my daily life, I don't see how that could be searchable. Like, how would you title it? How would you thumbnail it? How would you make it so that it's intriguing, that it's gonna draw a curiosity that, oh wow, this sounds interesting. The thumbnail looks interesting, the video title looks interesting. But if it's just like a regular day in my life, how do you even title it? How do you even thumbnail it? You just like go, oh, just another day on a I don't even know what day it is because my watch, it's what, Monday? Yeah, it's another day on Monday in February, and February's almost over. It's just another day. It's the 26th, I think. How do you title that? Now, something trendy happens on YouTube, then you're like, well, I think I got a good title, but now I got to come up with a good, compelling, and interesting thumbnail to go along with that title. And I think sometimes the hardest part of me making YouTube videos is the thumbnail and titling of the video and the description. Those are the hardest parts at times. Even though I could spend a day or 2 days straight editing a video under an hour long, I feel like some of the harder decisions and the hardest part of YouTube is trying to come up with the right thumbnail and description that aligns well with the video itself. These are struggles, dealing with these struggles. Smash that like button if you can. Hopefully we can get, a couple thousand people on the live stream. That's what it used to be on this channel. It used to be about 2,500 to 3,000 people in a live stream at a time. It was consistent. I had about 600 active members, members who had custom emojis, who had access to exclusive content, who had access to me wearing less than this shirt. Well, a tank top, me, I'm nothing naughty. I'm just saying, sometimes I put on a shirt in a live stream to look more appropriate. But when it comes to the members area, I might be just wearing my regular tank tops and just unwinding and being more myself and not having to dress up for the occasion. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like when I go public, I need to look nice and neat with a nice shirt. But if I'm doing like a members only, I'll just be in my tank top, casual. I might not even have my hair done. I might just be an off day for my hair. It's like, I'm just being myself, except for when I go outside, then I, do my hair because I don't want people staring at me thinking I've escaped from a mental hospital or something, because, the way my hair looks when I don't do it, it's kind of insane. So yeah, be on the lookout for tonight's video about the cellular outages. Be sure to smash the like button on there and share it and comment as well to help the YouTube algorithm, because this time it's going to be right. This time it's not going to be missing 8 minutes of very important and very relevant content that may help you understand what the hell's going on, and if this is going to be something that's going to be much bigger, and if there's anything to worry about, because technology is terrifying as it has evolved. You're afraid that, you're driving a self-driving vehicle, that all of a sudden somebody's going to take over the vehicle and drive it for you, and you have no control over the vehicle. And now you have some hacker or some person who has cyber attacked your vehicle's algorithm, the vehicle's computer, the stream that's coming in from the Wi-Fi, not the Wi-Fi, but yeah, well, they could do a Wi-Fi too, because your vehicles can connect to Wi-Fi. They can somehow get through the Wi-Fi or the cellular signal or satellite signals. If they were to control your vehicle through the software that communicates to your vehicle by remote, it's scary what they could possibly do to a vehicle while you're driving it. They can disable the brakes, make it steer wherever they want it to steer, look through the cameras of the vehicle and see what you're doing. So many things. That's scary. It's terrifying. And so there's a lot of things I'm getting in detail. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but this is an eye-opener. This is a wake-up call for many. So don't miss this video tonight that I'm uploading. It's like I said, this is the polished and finished version of what it should have been last night. And it's not missing any content this time. You might see parts in there that you remember from last night, but you don't want to miss all the details that I have left out, because that's the most important part of it, is all the details and the correction of the audio technical difficulties that I was experiencing in that video, which very, very well frustrated the hell out of me, because I feel like that's something that just could not be. And I may delete the video that I did last night and just forget it ever existed, because no sense of having it up if it's not the way I want it. The audio is not proper, and it's missing 8 minutes of content, and a bunch of illustrations are not there, and there's other issues with it. There were certain things that I did not, fix that made me look like a babbling fool. And so I wanted to make sure that I edited it so that I'm not being repetitive. So things were fixed, and it's new and improved with new content. So don't forget that it's going to be uploaded tonight, probably within the next hour. So be on the lookout for the new video with my insights, my knowledge and experience, so you have a better understanding of what could potentially be going on, and if there's anything to really worry about, and if this is just the beginning of something that's going to be much bigger. Now, I'm not one person who likes to say too much about it. It's like, I don't want to be a spoiler, because then if I do it all here, then it's like, well, now I ruin the quality of the video if I spoil it, because then now all the illustrations that would help accommodate what I'm speaking about are not there. And that's kind of depriving you of a fully polished production. So I want to make sure that you're able to see the whole thing in its entirety without me, spoiling anything. So, that's kind of where I am with that. Let's see what else is going on here. I'm going to read some of the comments here. Christopher, how you doing? Don't worry about the thumbnail. You're doing good the way you are. I love the content. Thank you so much. I like your healthy meals. There you go. It'd be nice if everybody loved those healthy meals. I did a video about cooking Gordon Ramsay style scrambled eggs. It did not do well on this channel. I'm like, damn. It's like I'm trying to help improve people's lives and help improve their palates and have a more healthier spin on Gordon Ramsay's recipes and cooking style, because I love the way he cooks, but there are also healthier versions of the food he cooks, the foods that he cooks that have the same texture and taste and quality. And, so that's what I strive for. Like, I try to make the healthier version without compromising. And so it was a disappointment because it didn't do really well. I'm like, why? I have a passion for cooking, but yet that didn't do well. Like, it's not resonating with everybody. Like the cooking video, the video only resonated with a handful of people. It just seemed like majority of people like, maybe it's too boring. I mean, if you're into that thing and you're really into the cooking and you want to know about healthy cooking or just intrigued about a specific kind of recipe, then I guess that's for you. But I feel like people are desensitized to anything but paranormal. It's almost like, well, if you don't deliver paranormal, I'm not interested. If you don't deliver stalker videos, I'm not interested. If you don't deliver something that makes me sit at the edge of my seat in suspense, then I'm not interested. That's kind of the impression that I get with the content that I upload. I feel like if there's not a wow factor, if there's not a keeping you on the edge of your seat, if there's not a paranormal, I guess, relation to it, if there's not a stalker relation to it, and I feel like the interest, the level of interest has decreased significantly. Like, we're on a topic about, technology and the uncertainties and the terrifying side of evolving technology, but not many people are here, or they're not interested in it, but yet I am highly interested in it. I have more interest in the technology and the topics of the cellular phones and radio communications than I do the paranormal. The paranormal, I think the only reason why I really took interest in it is because one of my best friends, Omar, kind of got me into that. I just enjoyed being part of that when I was with him, exploring places. And I liked the enthusiasm that he always had in making those kinds of videos. And I saw how well it was doing with him. And then I tried a couple of, paranormal investigating and some paranormal videos. And I was like, wow, you know what? This really works well. And then I've gained subscribers from Omar's channel. So there was a lot of you who came to this channel because you had mutual interest in the paranormal and what Omar was uploading. And since I was uploading similar content than he was, it was like we had mutual viewers. So then everybody started coming here for content that was similar to what Omar was making. And of course, Omar was making a lot of paranormal content. So I felt like I kind of just got caught up in that. And then it's like, okay, well, people want paranormal. So then I'm just going to give it to them. I'm going to give them more paranormal, because I can relate to it to a certain extent, because someone in my family was a true believer that the house that we lived in years ago was haunted, and then something followed us from another house to another house, because there were things that I've witnessed and we've witnessed as a family that make me question, reality. Like, wow, did I just see that? Did I just hear that? Something just happened. And so in the back of my head, I'm like, I believe in ghosts and paranormal because I saw things with my own eyes and heard things with my own ears. And so I can relate to that. But at the same time, I feel like there's a dark side to the paranormal. There's this side that makes you look like, you're dancing with the devil, that maybe you're not on God's side because you're being too curious. And I think the part of me that felt that way is when I would start yelling and getting overly excited and, screaming about ghosts and raising my voice, and maybe it came off as being disrespectful to the paranormal community and to the ghosts. And so I felt like that just didn't resonate well with everybody, but people were just watching it because of the entertainment value, although they were probably not happy with how I was handling the situations. And so I come to realize that I was really never an expert. Just because I've experienced what I believe were hauntings and ghosts or attachments doesn't mean it makes me an expert. I mean, I have friends who are experts in this kind of stuff, but I'm not. So I feel like I don't have that interest naturally, other than that, I've been through it, experienced it, and wonder what the hell is going on in my life. But I don't have that interest because I feel like there's a side of it that I feel like it's pulling me away from Jesus, like it's pulling me away from God. And it's like, am I sinning by yelling at ghosts or trying to get attention from the paranormal and sharing it on YouTube? Is this exploitation of the paranormal? Sharing it on YouTube, is this a bad thing? Because now you're trying to have some kind of gain out of ghosts that are haunting your house. So are you doing this for the right reasons? And so I start thinking to myself, okay, so when something happens in my house and I record it for YouTube, is this like exploitation of the paranormal? Is this something that God will not want me to do? Is he not going to be happy with me? And then me realizing, life is short and time goes by faster as you get older. And then there was some very big medical scares. And then I started worrying about, not being around in the next year or two. And I'm thinking, well, I need to be on the good side of God. And what am I doing here with the paranormal content? And I'm taking this too far. And it's like, do I want to be in hell when my time comes? And my time could be coming in 18 months. This is where I was going mentally. And so that's why I wanted to kind of shift gears and get out of that, because I felt like this was not healthy for me mentally, the paranormal. Plus, it was making me look bad because of the fact that I was just becoming too, I guess, reactive to it. I felt like I was just exaggerating my emotions and my feelings, and I was just becoming too obsessive with it. And I think I was just more excited about trying to make a better video than I was trying to find out what's going on in my home or get the answers. I felt like I focused too much on the entertainment value that it could provide, and so that I got carried away with it. And I feel like that just made me look disingenuous, and made me look like a very bad and inexperienced paranormal person or ghost hunter, or whatever you want to call it. And so people in the paranormal community might look down at me and say, well, I don't agree with what he does when it comes to the paranormal, and then that's when you start getting attacked by these debunkers who say this is fake and that is fake, because I exaggerate on things and I am overreactive. And sometimes I purposely overreact to things because I know it makes something more more entertaining. Like, in a thumbnail, it's like I might overreact with a crazy facial expression in a thumbnail, because I know that if somebody sees me making some kind of wild, crazy, scared face, it might draw more attention and maybe more clicks than if I'm just looking very bored and like, okay, yeah, just another day. I feel like facial expressions in a thumbnail can affect on how, has an effect on how well the video does, along with the video description. And I have friends who make videos that do the same thing. They'll make faces like, in their thumbnails, because they know that people just somehow get excited by the facial expression, because they know they're going to be walking into something exciting and they want to watch the video. But if you're just having a boring ass face on in a thumbnail, like, people are like, how is that going to be exciting? Like, you got to have a, oh my God, oh, whoa, what the, that's the only way. And I think I got so caught up in that. I feel like I got so caught up in that it made me look like I was going crazy. And then that becomes a issue with my mental health, because then I start thinking, what's wrong with me? Why am I acting this way? Why am I so obsessed with trying to, entertain everybody? And why am I dragging on this kind of topic that I really don't have the passion for? Like, when I was hanging out with my best friend Omar, yeah, I feel like it drew me closer to the paranormal. But it's like he doesn't have time to hang out with me, And so that's heartbreaking, because he's busy, and, it's not like he's right next door. It's not it's still a far drive, even though it was much further before I moved. But he's got a life, and, he's got a lot of things going on, and I feel like I just don't fit in with his schedule, with his life. So it's heartbreaking, because, I miss that time with him. So I feel like when I'm around him more, maybe it draws me closer to the paranormal. Then maybe I feel more comfortable with it. Maybe it feels more natural with me. But the less time that I spend with my friend Omar, it's like, I feel like it pushes me away from the paranormal. It makes me less interested in it. It just makes me feel like, I'm just beating on a dead horse, and I need to move on with my life and do something that's more rewarding mentally, something that's more fulfilling, that makes me feel better about myself. And I feel like getting away from the paranormal is the thing, but I'm afraid to do that because I don't want to lose the interest that you have in my channel by moving away from the paranormal. Because I moved towards this topic about, the whole cell phone outage, which I found very intriguing and very interesting, and it resonated so well with me. And it's like, this is a big chunk of, I have a lot to contribute, because there's so much experience and knowledge that I am able to bring to that kind of content, And I just feel like that people would rather watch the paranormal and not me educating and sharing with you what has been going on with the cellular phone outage and how it can relate to something bigger and what's going to happen next. And, what I kind of figured out based on some research of, history of, how history can kind of lead you to where the future may be. And so it's a disappointment because I feel like the things that I really enjoy doing, nobody's going to want to watch. And so it's like, what do I do? It's not motivating. It's very discouraging. And that's where I need advice. And I wish I had friends who could spend time with me, who had the time to give me advice or maybe help me kind of, fix that lack of interest, maybe rekindle the fire, make the fire better again. Just make me feel better about the whole paranormal thing. Because I feel like every time I do a video and I talk about the paranormal, I just feel like I'm pushing myself further away from reality. And I feel like my mental health is taking a toll because I feel like sometimes I think too deeply into things. And every little thing that I see or hear is like my mind is saying it's paranormal because it has to be paranormal because that's what YouTube wants. So, if I happen to come in the house and I hear a sound like that, I'm thinking paranormal, grab the camera, YouTube wants it. But yet it could have been that maybe the door was open slightly and then there was a draft and it finished shutting. Could have been a logical explanation for that. Hearing a bang in the attic could have been, the sun, heat from the sun can cause things to expand and contract depending on the temperatures and air drafts. And so I hear a sound, I'm like, oh, I heard a pop. Oh, damn, grab the camera. It's good content. People want this. Instead of me trying to be realistic about it, saying, wait a minute, no. Let's be realistic. It's got to be from the sun. It's got to be just the frame of the house popping and banging like it does, Let's not get carried away. And so I feel like sometimes I catch myself. And I've been catching myself a lot lately. And that's why you haven't seen a lot of new paranormal content. Because like when I hear something or see something and I grab a camera and it does happen again, it's like, what's the sense of even uploading this on YouTube? Because how many times can something happen before it becomes old? I'm like, if it already happened before, why is somebody going to watch it again? You can have a ghost come in your house in every flavor and color and every size. But, if it's doing the same thing every time, is it going to be boring after a while? That's the situation that I'm dealing with. Do what you love, Bobby. Really like the cooking video. Everyone is trying to get healthier and learn about vitamins and minerals and how they work for you, etc. Thank you so much. Yes. YouTube's kind of tricky about that because you have to be careful about how you present that kind of content because, you want to make sure I always put in my descriptions, that everybody has specific dietary needs and that it's not a one size fits all when it comes to, vitamins, mineral supplementation and healthy eating and certain foods, that everybody has a unique, body. And so one food might work good for you and another food might not work as good for you. For the next person, that food might do much better. And certain supplements, some people might have an intolerance to something or an allergy to something and you can't have this or that. And so I always recommend, checking with your doctor to see, what you can and cannot do as far as your diet or dietary changes or supplementation, because there could be conflicts of, supplements and medications. We don't want to have that kind of a thing happen. So it's like, I want to be able to share, good information, but I don't want to get carried away and excited and share information that leads someone to not have the full information they need to make the decision that's best for them, because it's not a one size fits all. And so that's why when it comes to that, I worry about your welfare, your health, and I don't want you taking a supplement that's not going to work good with your medication. And so that's why it's like, I want to make sure we have this conversation in every video, in a description, when it comes to certain foods or supplements, which is why a lot of times I barely ever make videos about supplements and vitamins, but I do make them about foods, because foods is a different thing. Although there are some foods that you would try to avoid when you're taking certain kind of medications, like, try not to mix certain medications with grapefruit, you know what I mean? And, just certain things like that. So, you just got to be careful about those things. but I wish that it was simpler than that. But my biggest passion is, fitness, exercising, healthy eating, but it's not a one size fits all. And everybody has their specific interests, and this channel wasn't created on that kind of content. It was created based on me traveling places, and then I changed things up. I was doing radio. I actually started doing radio communications videos on this channel years ago, and Italian mafia videos on this channel years ago. Me getting into character and doing commentaries and doing all kinds of, I guess, trendy topics. That's what this channel was about years ago, and I would share bits and pieces of me traveling places. And then it turned into a paranormal channel because I started hanging out with Omar back in 2020. Yeah, it was like the beginning of 2020. I started hanging out with Omar. And then I just got intrigued and started making paranormal videos and exploring places and going and traveling to California with Omar and then other places. And then I got sucked into it. And then I just enjoyed the paranormal videos that I was making and just being around people who had the same interests. That's what made it fun, when I was around other people who were doing the same thing, because then that's where the excitement came in. Then when you don't see your friends anymore, but every now and then, your whole outlook on everything starts to change. Then you start to wonder if there's something wrong. Like, I start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? And in the back of your head, as a content creator, you start to think, well, we are content creators and we all are trying to do what we can to make our channel succeed, right? And so what if somebody doesn't want to be associated with someone because they're afraid that, that might make them look bad because, oh, you don't want to hang around this guy because he makes fake videos. Like somebody thinks I make fake videos, then, some other YouTuber out there might not want to hang out with me because they're afraid that I'm going to make them look bad because, if people are saying, oh, I made a fake ghost video, because, these assholes, these debunkers, not all of them are assholes, but some of them are, because some of them are not true believers in the paranormal. They're just doing it just to try to ruin people's channels. They're spiteful, but not all of them are spiteful. I got to give respect for some of them, because some of them are just trying to find the truth out there, and they're just trying to get the answers, and they're just trying to expose people who are being deceptive. I understand that, that's a legitimate thing, but the people that are going out of their way to just blindly come at people and tell them that they're making fake paranormal videos without even knowing what kind of videos they make and reading the channel disclaimers and making assumptions and then just calling them liars. I don't like that, and I despise that, and I feel it's wrong, and that they should be held accountable financially for any losses that anybody takes. So, it's time to just disassociate yourself from the paranormal and move on to something where somebody can't take away your livelihood. Because, I feel like doing the paranormal was, if people kept on attacking my videos, it's like, there's going to be so many civil cases against these people because, I'm going to try to collect, what's owed to me financially because of the destruction of my channel and success. Because I probably could have made hundreds of thousands of dollars making videos on YouTube over the years if these debunkers wouldn't have destroyed the channels. That's hypothetically. I mean, that's based on what other people are making in this kind of content niche, you know what I mean? Because I know content creators that are doing well. But I'm not going to say who they are, because just because I say a content creator doesn't want to be associated with me because they're afraid that I'm going to make them look bad, doesn't mean there's any one specific person, because there are numerous people that I know of personally who make paranormal videos. I could say at least 5 people. And some of them would hang out with me, but some of them would not want to hang out with me anymore. Some of them won't even talk to me, right? Some of them move somewhere, and I'm not going to say where. All I can say is this particular person is not Omar, so we're just going to, it's not Omar. Although I'm upset that I don't get to see him anymore. It breaks my heart that I don't see him like I used to. And people have told me that the reason why he doesn't hang out with me is because he doesn't want to look bad because of what people say about my paranormal videos. And so That's just what people are saying. And then some people are saying, well, you have a really good friend because, he still hangs out with you regardless, whether you're making, people say your videos are fake, but yet he's not afraid to hang out with you. He's not afraid of you making him look bad. Just because it seems to be common knowledge that my friend Omar makes legit paranormal content doesn't mean that these people have, that doesn't give them the right to just put me down and insult my friends and make them look like, well, he's not going to hang out with you because, your paranormal videos are going to make him look bad. So, they try to put that in my head. So why do people try to put that kind of shit in my head about my friends? Why would they put that in my head? Why would they say that? Like, it's not like it would be true. Like, why would my best friend Omar not want to hang out with me because people think my over-the-top paranormal videos are faked? They might not think that the not so over-the-top ones are fake, but the ones that get a little bit out of hand, because some people find things hard to believe, they might think, oh, we don't, like, that's what people say. But I'm talking, there's a person, and it's not Omar, that I almost 100% certain that they don't want to associate with me anymore. And matter of fact, my channel name is blocked from their channel, that I can't even comment on their videos to say hi. It's like they blocked me. But yet we used to hang out. So I have a feeling this person wants nothing to do with me anymore. For what reason, I have no idea, other than because they think, oh, well, maybe he thinks I'm disrespecting the paranormal community. Maybe he doesn't want to look bad associated with me, thinking that, people say he's fake, he's a phony, because that's how people are. They try to put people down on YouTube. And so I feel like that's why YouTube can become very toxic, especially if you make paranormal videos. So do you understand why making paranormal videos is not good for my mental health? It's because there's a lot of this unwanted drama and a lot of negative energy associated with the paranormal content. And that's why I've been trying to steer away from it. And that's why I've been uploading existing paranormal content from the past, because, there's a lot of stuff that I have uploaded in the past, but as long as I keep it in the past, then I feel like that I'm not creating new problems, because the problems already have existed in the past. And all I'm doing is just showcasing the past to still at least over 150,000 people that have not seen it yet out of the 230,000 people that are subscribed to this channel. Because when I look back at a video and I see that a specific video only got like 30,000 or 40,000 views, and then I look at the amount of subscribers on the channel, and I go, okay, this paranormal video that I did in 2022 only got 30,000 views, but yet the channel has 230,000 subscribers. If I do the math, that means 200,000 subscribers still did not see that video that got 30,000 views. So it only made sense for me to re-upload that years later to see if the rest of the subscribers would have a chance to see the video that they did not see when it was originally uploaded and only got 30,000 views out of the 230,000 subscribers that are subscribed to watch the content that I upload. So there's logic behind the reasons for me to re-upload a video that I did years ago, because it does not align well with the amount of subscribers that I have. So if a video did poorly, it's like, well, maybe I'll have a better chance this time around. Maybe it'll do better this time around. Maybe I've got to tweak things up a little bit. Maybe I got to add a little bit of fresh content mixed in with it. Maybe change the thumbnail around. Maybe change the description around. Change some of the details. Maybe I have to condense it down a little bit. Maybe do a compilation. Maybe add a little bit of new with the old. Put a reaction video and mix in my reaction today, how I would react to what happened years ago, and mix it together. I feel like that's what I've been doing lately. Is bringing the old with, kind of a new perspective on it, because I don't want to draw attention to what has been shared out of this house in the paranormal realm, because I'm trying to take care of my mental health. And I feel like if I keep going down that path of chasing ghosts in my newly acquired home, which I'm afraid to lose due to financial reasons. I feel like it's deteriorating my mental health, which may be a piece of the puzzle that explains why there are days that I feel like I'm not able to speak fluently. And then I feel like I almost like, did I have a stroke? Did I have a mental breakdown? What's going on? Because there's days I feel like I'm not consistent mentally or verbally, you know? It's like I have my good days and my bad days. And I'm like, I chalk it up to just being overly stressed out and my mind thinking too fast, but my mouth not being able to keep up with my brain. You know, it's kind of like we're on two different wavelengths, two different speeds or something, you know? Why don't you sit down and relax instead of keep on going around in the circles? That's my opinion. That's another problem I deal with. I have trouble sitting down. I can't, like, I'm doing a live stream and I'm walking around because I know that if I was not doing a live stream that I would be walking around. And I feel like I'm trying to do two things at once because right now I'd be walking in the neighborhood. I would be trying to achieve my 20K steps a day. I would be walking, jogging, lifting weights. I lift weights 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. I walk 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. I try to have 20K steps at the end of the day. I also calculate any steps that I get when I'm at the grocery store, any steps that I get when I'm walking around in the house, if it's a really shitty day outside, you know? So when I'm doing a live stream, I'm actually trying to multitask. I have trouble sitting still, which also leads to the whole circumstances of me running around the house, trying to get this done, and then something else happens, and then I'm running to this, and I'm jumping to that, then I'm jumping to this, and I'm jumping to that. I'm all over the place, and I just can't be in one place for too long without me jumping from one task to the other. And I feel like I could just never commit to one thing before another thing gets my attention. And then when I go to that thing, another thing gets my attention. I feel like I have ADHD I guess, extreme ADHD at times. You know, I was born with what I believe I call ADD. But I feel like over the years it has progressed to ADHD because now there's an attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And so I feel like it's just progressed. You know what I mean? I just can't sit still for anything. I feel young. I feel energetic. I don't feel 52, even though I don't know what 52 is supposed to feel like because I feel like the numbers are flipped around. I feel like I'm 25, not 52. But I worry like I'm much older. I have worries of a person who's on their dying bed thinking I have cancer or I have this, and I'm not in the clear until all these tests come back clear because there's still pending tests. But I feel good and I'm living for now. And that's why I end up spending so much money because I'm like, I can't take it with me and bury it with me when I die, so I might as well spend it now. And when I come to reality that I'm going to be around longer, you know, because life is that way. You start having this kind of dark moment about cancer and you start thinking your days are numbered. And then, well, you know, splurge out here, go here, travel, you know, do some upgrades to your home, buy this, buy that, go extra gourmet style with your foods, you know, go out to eat to a healthy place once in a while. You know, you start doing these things, then you realize, wow, you know, that was expensive. But, you know, hey, I'm not going to be around long enough to worry about running out of money because I'll be dead in another year, right? That's where my mind was last February. That's where my mind was. And that's where I went wrong financially. I made it kind of led up to it gradually because I was thinking there was something wrong and I started spending money thinking I wasn't going to be around. But then when February came, I feel like that time even got cut in half than what I originally thought. So then things progressed even more faster at that point. And then I'm still here, which I thought I would be on my dying bed by now, you know, which thank God I'm not, and I'm still here, still feeling good. But that's the kind of reality I've been living, you know, where there's so much uncertainty that I've just been spending money out of my retirement to make ends meet. But on top of that, I've just been splurging, thinking that I'm not going to be around to worry about running out of money. So now I'm worried about being around to run out of money, but is that a problem? Because at least I'm going to be around. So now I have to make other decisions to adapt to the possibility that, I'm going to run out of money within the next year and lose everything. And so I already had to sell my vehicle, and I just recently sold, finally, my washer and dryer and generator that I had in the garage. Finally, it got picked up and paid for. I was waiting on that. So, that really helped with some bills. And, now I got a procedure coming up, which is going to be quite expensive, but has to get done. It's just the things that happen in my life. Insurance doesn't pay everything, unfortunately. I know, I'm walking in circles again. See, I cannot sit still for any damn thing. I get to complain in the bedroom. Mamma mia. Yeah, I guess I need to stop worrying and just live. But I guess my worries bleed into YouTube because it's like this. There's a big likelihood, there's a big chance that if I walk away from the paranormal, that I will take a 90% hit on the viewership on this channel, that 90% of you will stop watching the moment that I stop sharing new paranormal content in my house. The moment that I deviate from the paranormal, that I will lose interest in over 90% of you. And that's something that I don't know if I'm ready to accept that reality, but I feel like that would be my fate the moment that I walk away from the paranormal. And that's the only thing that keeps sucking me back in is the fear of losing 90% of you, because if I stop making paranormal content, you're going to walk away from me. And I just feel like my life is of no interest if I'm not dealing with ghosts or stalkers. And it's a sad reality. And I don't blame you for that. That's how I think of myself. I think of my life being so boring that nobody would want to even watch me on YouTube unless it was paranormal, or if I'm with a friend of mine who does the paranormal videos, or even if I'm with someone else doing anything. I feel like if I had someone living in my house with me, or if I was married and someone who had mutual interest in YouTube and would like to make YouTube videos with me, I feel like if we were living together in my home and we shared that common interest, that I feel like that our lives together would be quite interesting. And I feel like that would make entertaining content, because then I would be sharing a day of my life or in a day of my married life with my partner, and there would be this man and woman in a video that would be bouncing off each other, talking to each other, and reacting to each other, having those funny moments with each other, and sharing those moments on YouTube. And I feel like that would be entertaining. But me, just by myself, with nobody to speak to except for you, so I'm talking to a camera instead of talking to someone else, and then having the camera capture me talking to them while they're engaging back with me. I feel like that's more entertaining. I feel like my life was much better on YouTube as far as the entertainment purposes when I had other people in the YouTube videos with me to fulfill that need that people have for entertainment on YouTube. I feel like there's a big missing piece of the puzzle, and that is another person in my life. And I feel like if I have another person in my life, then I can deviate from the paranormal and get away from it totally. And then everything that I do would be entertaining, because I would have a partner in my life to share my life experiences with, and we can bounce off each other, and we can be entertaining each other and you at the same time. I feel like that's what's needed. But I don't want to have a relationship solely based on that fact only. I want to have a relationship based on the fact of the person, who they are, and how they would complement, my life, and how I would complement their life, and how we would be there for each other, and how we make each other happy, and how we would share common interests and mutually enjoy the hobbies together. And if YouTube happens to be something that we enjoy together, that's a plus, that's a bonus. And then sharing that on YouTube would be just a win-win situation. Guys, I feel like that's the element that's missing in my life. Very smart man is shall pass man. Need to love yourself more. Don't be a bad bud. So, thank you so much for your words there. Big action, Papa. I got no complaint in the bedroom. Oh, Mamma Mia. That's the thing, you know. My bedroom's a pretty lonely room. Don't have anybody to share it with. You know. Anyway, I thought I would just give you a heads up on tonight's video about the whole situation. I did it as professionally as I could. A lot of illustrations in that video. I even corrected some of the illustrations that weren't done properly the first time because, a lot of these things I overlooked out of just the urgency of getting that video up, and then I overlooked some details. And then one of the things that I really got disappointed about was the audio issue, being left only channel, and then 8 minutes of content being missing, and a ton of illustrations totally being missing from my whole presentation. It was like, what the hell happened? So I give it a D+. I really want to have an A. So this video tonight, I'm shooting for an A. Everything looked fine. I went over everything, and I can't think of anything that I left out or anything that I feel like I got it all together this time. So I'm hoping that this will be something of interest to you, and maybe it'll resonate well with you. The whole completed version, fixed and replaced and updated and missing content added to it. So when you see it tonight, please show me some love on it, because I know for some of you, you might think you already saw it, but before you think you already saw it, give it a shot and look at it, because it's a lot different. 8 minutes of content added to it. Illustrations are there that weren't there before. There are parts that were fixed, including the audio, and a couple of issues that were there that I had to fix. So it's all addressed, and so it's new and improved. It's like ready to be seen tonight. I would watch you, whatever you do. Please don't think like that. You're a good person. Thank you so much. Dana, thank you so much. You're subscribing, whatever you do, man. You're outstanding. Thank you so much. I need to up the I need to up the glasses. You don't have to worry about me because I like your videos. You need to get stronger as you stop stressing. Thank you so much. The thing is, I lack mental strength, but I have physical strength. It's kind of like I traded off my mental strength for physical strength. It's like I'm walking in a neighborhood and somebody says, "Hey, can you help me lift up this gym? Can you help me lift up this bed frame? Can you help me lift up this furniture?" I'm like, what do I look like, the moving man? Because I literally, I walk around the neighborhood and people think I'm like their muscle guy. Like, yeah, I need help. Can you help me carry this thing? It's heavy. I'm like, what am I, like the neighborhood moving guy? Because I walk around in my tank top. I might just be fresh out of working out, so I probably got a pump going from working out, right? So I go outside and one of my veins are popped out of my arms, and there's somebody looking at me like, man, I could use you right now. I got to lift this damn heavy thing. I'm like, yeah. So I think what happens is I traded my mental strength for my physical strength. I wish there was a balance where I was able to have both. I feel like if I focus on my mental strength, I'm going to lose my physical strength. I feel like it's a tug of war. Pull on one side and something happens on the other side. It's like, can't we just meet in the middle somewhere? So yeah, I'm trying to work on that, trying to work on my mental strength, my emotional well-being. And I feel like getting away from the paranormal, even if it's for a while, for me to take a break. But I'm just hoping that nobody's going to, abandon me if I do that. I'm just hoping, if I take a week break from it, if I take 2 weeks and I upload something, and maybe there's an old paranormal video, which I would still upload, that maybe you didn't get a chance to see, or there could be some videos from my archive from a couple of years ago that involved paranormal and I upload it, or something that happened here that I just didn't want to upload because I was trying not to draw attention to it. But since it's not in the current time, I feel like I'm not drawing attention to something new, because I feel like it's the newness that really messes me up emotionally, because then I feel like people are thinking it's happening now and they need to, look into it now, and then I'm being judged by what's happening now. And then people say, oh, well, I'm not coming to your house because you have a haunted house. But if it's like, oh, it's from last year, so is everything okay now? Your house is not haunted anymore? Okay, well, I'll come over. I feel like if people think it's from a long time ago instead of now, then the likelihood of me having friends come to visit, if they happen to recognize me from YouTube, is much higher than if someone like, oh, I'm not going to your house. You got damn ghosts in here. So if I upload something from the past, I feel like, well, that's the past. It's not a problem right now. So you're good to go. You can come visit. Like I have friends who, don't want anything to do with ghosts. And I feel like they're not visiting me because they see my YouTube channels like, well, I'm not coming to your house because you just had that damn thing. You had a glass fly, hit the floor and break. You had this happen. Like, hell no. You can come visit me, but I'm not visiting you. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I feel like a part of that is like, if I could just take a break from it for a while, maybe that'll help me out. Stop wanting validation. Love yourself. There you go. I just wish I don't know. I guess because I have so much hope in YouTube, and it's not just about the validation. It's about the success on YouTube. It's not always about like, oh, I'm worried about if this person's not going to enjoy my content or this person's not going to enjoy my content, but I also worry about the direction the channel goes because of the limited options that I have for financial success. And I know that YouTube brings opportunity to earn some revenue from the videos you upload. So I feel like there's also a financial reward from YouTube if I were to become successful enough to actually make enough money to make it worth my time, in addition to me just enjoying making YouTube videos just for the entertainment that you guys receive from my content. But I don't want to deprive you of the entertainment. So I want to make sure that I'm being fair. Like if I'm going to be compensated financially by YouTube by maybe getting maybe a couple dollars for each video that I upload that does well, I want to make sure that you're happy with the content. And I feel like the happier everybody is with the content, the better the channel does, the more views it gets, the more money it makes. And then the more incentive it gives me to make more videos. But when it takes me having to make paranormal videos that most people want, then I feel like that I'm not really truly happy. And then I have to do what I can to make people happy so that, one, people are entertained, and then I don't lose your attention. And then there's a potential for me to continue to grow the channel so that we can fix what has been broken. And I feel like reconnecting with the community by allowing YouTube to rebuild itself, because the tricky thing about YouTube when it comes to its algorithm is when a video does well and it resonates with the community, YouTube rewards you by promoting your videos more, and more of your subscribers see the content. And then on the same note, you also get revenue from advertisers so that you get paid for that. It might be a couple dollars a video, but it's still better than nothing. But the thing is, the fact that YouTube is paying you means that you're on the good side of YouTube. And if they pay you more, then you know you're doing the right thing. So YouTube rewards you financially by making the kind of content that viewers enjoy the most. So the more views, the more you get paid, the more YouTube promotes your videos. So all this works together and then makes YouTube a more lively platform. And so that's what I've been trying to accomplish, because if I can turn YouTube into a self-sustaining hobby which pays for itself. So say I've been struggling with all these jobs, and then I get fired from this job, and then I'm trying to work this job, and then they don't want to run the business within my ethical, and within my ethics. Like I feel like they're just not running the business properly. Or, the previous job I had years ago where I had to keep going to the bathroom, my bladder, it's got worse over the years. It's like, I feel like working for a company is becoming a toll on my physical health, and it's limiting me from doing my usual routines, my healthy eating schedules, my wake and sleep schedules, everything that I do to keep me as healthy as I can. I feel like working a job that keeps me awake 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week or 6 days a week, I feel like that is really deteriorating my health because I'm not doing something that's rewarding and fulfilling and making me happy. And I'm pulling myself from my regular routine that my body is used to. And then I'm also stressed because I'm in an environment that doesn't allow me to get the exercise and steps and healthy foods at the intervals that I can get them. And a lot of things that are depriving me of my best health. So I feel like YouTube is a win-win. So if I were to succeed on YouTube and then it would reward me financially, then I wouldn't have to worry about seeking side hustles or another job because my business that I'm running, which gives me between $600 to $800 a month, it's shitty income. But if I had some side income from YouTube to add to the $600 to $800 a month, even if it was like $500 a month from YouTube, if you add that, that's what, $1,300 a month at most? I feel like if I can at least make double what I'm making on YouTube and add it together, I feel like that would be, at least keep me afloat. You know what I mean? And then I can continue to upload YouTube content because then now time is money. YouTube is paying me to make videos. So I would love to get into that ideal situation. So that's why I become so critical of myself and how I, entertain people and why I am like doubting myself. Like if I don't do paranormal, I'm a big disappointment. No one's going to watch me. My YouTube channel is going to die. I'm going to be stuck in this cycle where, nobody's going to want to hire me because of my physical situation with my bladder. And, nobody's going to be able to tolerate my excessive, bladder relieving breaks or, my specific schedule for working out. Like I'm going to walk out on the job and say, well, it's time for me to get my 20K steps. I can't get it here, sitting here at a workstation, or if I'm soldering components at a station where I can't move, I'm like, okay, well, I got to go. I need to get at least 30 minutes of steps. I can't stand here. That's me. It's like, I cannot stand in one place for 10 to 12 hours a day and not get physical exercise. And I've been looking for work that looking for people to do physical exercise, and they're discriminating against my age. I feel like I'm 25, but yet they want somebody who's 25 and 30. They don't want someone who's in their 50s to do manual labor or construction labor. They want someone who is younger. And so I feel discriminated against. Even if I was into some kind of, security job or high security job, somebody working with the FBI, they want someone who is at least no older than 37 years old. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't even get a job doing this because I'm older than 37, obviously, but I don't feel it. So that's so it's not all about self-doubting. It's about doubting that my content is going to be entertaining enough to keep this YouTube channel successful enough to be self-sustaining to the point where I don't have to worry about looking for jobs. I could just focus on YouTube and put 100% of my energy and focus directly on YouTube content creation and do what makes me happy. And then YouTube compensates me for that time. I put that money back into YouTube content creating, put that money into traveling places to make interesting content, and having the ability to do things and not be restricted by a job that keeps me from staying on top of my health. That's the situation I'm dealing with. So it's a multi-layer situation. There's many layers to this whole YouTube thing. There's the entertainment aspect of it. There's the success of YouTube. There's the self-sustaining due to the financial reward. So, my goal is to make at least the same amount of money that I'm making now, add it to the amount of money that I'm making. So if I can pull off about $600 to $800 a month in YouTube revenue, then add it to my already existing revenue of $600 to $800 a month, what does that leave me? About $1,600 a month on the top end? And I would still kind of be having a budget big time because I still have obligations to pay for. So ideally, if I can make at least between my income that I make now, I need to make at least $3,200 a month to survive without me having to go on financial lockdown and be stuck in the house and not be able to go anywhere, without having to dip into my retirement to total depletion. I have to make at least $3,100 a month. That's what I have to make to where I am not dipping into what I have left. But if I were to make $1,600 a month, at least that slows down the process. But I'm trying to be realistic. I cannot imagine me, making $2,300 in YouTube a month. That's kind of like, that's in fantasy world. Like, yeah, I have friends who probably make that in a day. And that's no exaggeration. I'm not mentioning any names, but I'm trying to be realistic here. So I want to be able to entertain you while being able to have a way to sustain this hobby financially. Because I can't do it on my limited income of $600, $800 a month. That's why I have a members area on here to help support the channel, to help support the cause, to help support what, I believe is probably my calling, and that is connecting with the world through social media, through YouTube, because I feel like there's a reason why I still upload YouTube videos, and I'm not going to give up on this platform. I feel like the day I give up is the day that I'm breathing dirt, you know what I mean? So, you guys are amazing, and I feel like I'm never alone because I have the YouTube community. And I feel like back in the day when I was relevant and recognizable in the general public, I couldn't go anywhere without somebody recognizing me and saying, oh, you're that guy from the YouTube channel. And it was a magical moment. It felt so good. It's like, I just love seeing people happy and excited. It was like a very magical moment. And over the last couple of years, nobody says a peep. Nobody recognizes me. Maybe people who do recognize me are like, don't even want to talk to me because they don't believe in me because of the paranormal. They probably think I'm some crazy nut job. So that's a possibility. There's people that know me, but they purposely avoid me, because of the paranormal content. And that's why there's that side of the paranormal that makes me reconsider making paranormal videos, because I feel like I'm being judged for it, That's the way it is. Time to retire. That's what I told. There you go. You to be rich guy, not to work for anyone, for yourself. Yeah. Thank you so much, Cinda, for watching and continue to watching. Dana, love you. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm doing good. Organization, the original. How you doing? You like the Terminator. I remember you acting like him. Funny videos. Oh, Terminator. I remember the Terminator. Yes, I remember that. I'll be back. You're a good guy. Thank you so much, guys. That's funny. I got the Terminator. Actually, I can't do it right now, but yeah. Anyway, I gotta go for a night walk. I need to get my steps tonight. And I got to go back here and take a shower, wash off the night pollen, because the nighttime air settles, the pollen settles at night. When the temperature cools down, the air pressure changes, pollen drops down. And when pollen drops down because of the air pressure change and temperature change, then it's almost like it's raining pollen particles, and it just gets all over you. So it's kind of how I think all the time. I think on a very microscopic level about everything. I think about the littlest things that I probably should not even think about. And it becomes an obsessive, thought process. Hey there, handsome. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. Love the positive there. Swim with the fishes. There you go. Yeah, I remember the days I was doing those, the video, the guy from Jersey, it was this mob boss, and he was sitting in a chair with a bag of money, and he was talking to this guy on the phone. He's like, hey, I got this business proposition. I want you to take care of something here because, there's this guy who, basically loose lips sink ships. And it's time for him to go on a boat ride out in the sea there. And we're going to give him something to talk about. But you know what? This guy is going to wear some of those cinder block shoes because, they're in fashion, especially with the rats, these guys that are talking too much but not listening, Those guys get the special brick shoes, cinder blocks, take them out in the water on a boat ride. It's a little bumpy on the way there, but hey, you're not going to worry about it because once you're down at the bottom of the ocean, and you got those cinder block shoes on, you're going to be walking down there in style, waiting for that shark to come by. If it's not going to be the shark, it's going to be the crabs, because the crabs in the bottom of the ocean, they're crustaceans. And you know what? They're also what we call little, what do you call them? They love to eat. They love to eat deteriorating meat at the bottom of the ocean. They're scavengers, So they're going to go on a scavenger hunt under the water. They're going to see this body down there, standing up in there, and, immersed in the mucky bottom of the ocean. And they're going to start eating this guy alive. They might wait till he dies, They might wait till his skin is softer, but that's what happens. But, that's the kind of thing I was talking about, like years ago. I was kind of just getting into that whole Italian mafia thing and sharing my Italian meatballs and lasagna, all the different, and like the unhealthy version of the foods that I used to share on YouTube, can you make a healthier version of the meatballs instead of making that stuff that's so unhealthy? Because, meatballs, what is it? It's made out of pork. It's made out of beef. You got all that fat in there, the saturated fats. You got all that. It's horrible. Like, what are you doing to your body? But now it's like I have a different outlook. But yeah, that's how it is. But anyway, I do have to go for my walk in the neighborhood. And I'm not wearing this black shirt at night because I don't want to get run over. Because we got people that don't know how to drive in this neighborhood that are lost. Like, when you got a rural neighborhood that barely has any people, there's barely any street lights, it's very dark outside. If you walk around in a dark shirt, you're basically not noticeable. And somebody's going to run you over. Try being positive. Like, don't let the negative in your mind. Absolutely, yeah. I try to avoid negative people. Swimming with the fishes. Love it. How you doing? I'm doing all right. How you doing? Huh? You doing all right there, Bob? Big action Papa over there. You're doing good. Don't be down on yourself. Keep your head up. It's all going to work out. Yeah, I know it's going to work out eventually. It's just going to take some time. I just got to get the right mental, got to be on the right path there. I guess that's going to, no dipping. There you go. All right, guys, you got the blue balls over there. So that means I got to get the blue blockers out. Hey, I got to get the blue blockers. I got to put them on. It's almost time to put them. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Holy shit, it's almost 8 o'clock. I gotta get walking outside. I can't be talking in here on this thing all night. Me Marone. I said, what am I doing here? You know what? I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm just all over the place. I just can't sit still for nothing. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'm doing good. The only person that can judge you is God. That's absolutely right. Yes. And I wish that more people would let that sink into their brains. That, yeah, the only person that can judge you is God himself. Now, the Almighty, Jesus, all right? Have respect, people. You know what I mean? All right, I got to get the hell out of here. I got to go walk in the neighborhood. I don't even know if you really want to call it a neighborhood. I just call it like just walking in the community. Maybe you can't even call it walking in the wilderness. There you go. I'm walking in the wilderness tonight. I just got to go outside and walk in the wilderness, I just got to watch out for a random vehicle that gets lost on a back road, don't know where the hell they're going. Like, you don't belong here. What's your purpose? Why are you on this road? Like people drive down here like, it's a one-way road. Like, you're coming here, but there's no other houses beyond this point. So what's the purpose? What's the reasoning? I have no idea. Elizabeth, how you doing? You guys are awesome. How you doing? Enchanted girl out there. How you doing? Emerald, turkey meatballs, yes. Yeah, much healthier, yes, turkey meatballs. I used to do the pork, veal, and pork and veal meatballs in the day. Yeah, I mean, I can't even have any red meats. I can only have white meats like turkeys, chicken, fish. Whenever I have red meats, any mammalians, like if it's a mammal and it produces milk, I cannot consume it because I break out in hives. Now we're going to talk about these proteins. Now we're going to talk about deer ticks and Lyme's disease, right? I know where this conversation could possibly go. But with all that said, I got to go for a walk. I got to get out of here, you know? And Mary Johnson, you're late. Hey, you know, that's what's nice about the rewind, and you know, because the live stream, I know you could rewind it, look back. I think, I don't know. I'm sure you could, you know, because I do have a video that I'm releasing tonight. Like I said, it's going to look like the same video, but before you ignore that video thinking it's like a glitch, oh, wait a minute, that's what just remember, 8 minutes is missing. Audio issues, the whole entire video are now fixed. Presentations, illustrations are now there that were missing. Some very important parts of the video were missing because I was, I guess, in a hurry to get it out. And then I realized later, like, oh shit, the audio is messed up. Oh shit, eight minutes of important information is missing. Oh shit. Like all these illustrations are not there with my whole entire presentation. Why? So that's what happened. I know everything's doing good over there. Eh? All right, you guys are amazing. Smash the like button on here. We got 109 likes. Hey, that's good. We got 44 people in here. That's good. Maybe we can get to 50 members. You know what I mean? 50 members. If you know anybody who wants to join the membership of the Rolling With Me, hey, you know, memberships are interesting. It really is. You know, I get a little carried away in the members area. You thought I was getting carried away now. Just wait. You know, like I feel like YouTube will not suppress my membership promotional videos that I put out there once in a while. I feel like YouTube is suppressing because I don't meet the threshold of members in the membership area, which is a shame. They shouldn't like categorize me like, oh, well, you're not good enough for us because you only have 19 members. So we're not going to promote any of your members' posts. Like, you got to wait till you get 20 or 25 or 50. Like, give me a break. Come on. Like, I don't know how YouTube's algorithm exactly works, but I just have a hunch that there are certain parameters and there's certain milestones that have to be reached before YouTube pushes this or pushes that. Like, they're in full control of whether or not this video does well or that video does well based on this, based on that algorithm, based on this mathematical equation. I'm like, come on, just give me a fucking break. Will you just upload this shit? Would you let me upload this shit? Will you just promote it to everybody? I have 230,000 subscribers. Can you at least let all 230,000 of them know a video exists and they have the choice whether or not to watch the damn thing? Why are you only going to push the video to 500 people and leave everybody else out? Like, what the hell? You know, it's kind of what happens. It's the way the YouTube world is. Like, when I uploaded that video last night, I lost subscribers. I'm like, what the hell? YouTube, you're ass backwards. You are literally ass backwards. Like, I upload a video of one of the things I have the most passion for: electromagnetic energy, radio communications, cellular communications, digital data, all this stuff. I mean, the solar system, solar flares. I'm like, we are talking my language. And then I lose subscribers when I upload that video. Maybe it's because they were annoyed because the audio only worked in the left ear and it was so annoying they had to just dislike the video and unsubscribe. Or maybe because 8 minutes of that content was missing and they knew it was missing, so they were mad. I don't know. But it's all going to be here tonight in its entirety. Nothing's going to be missing. That's how it's going. Anyway, you guys stay safe out there. I know, I say goodbye for an hour. It's like, hey, so now an hour later, what are you doing? You should be outside walking in the neighborhood. Oh, wait a minute. I mean, the wilderness. You know, you need to be walking in the wilderness. You know, by the time you go outside and walk in the wilderness, it's going to be the time the coyotes get extra hungry and the wolves get extra hungry. And you are probably going to be tempting them, especially if you just had something to eat before you walked out the door, because now you're going to have some of that smell of that food on you. You know, I'm not afraid of coyotes. they're just little dogs, you know. They're tiny little dogs. And you walk in a neighborhood, you walk in the woods, whatever, and you got these dogs. Like, okay, whatever. You know what? Like, yeah, you howl and you cry, you're screaming, but you're just a little dog to me. I'm not worried about you. It's not like you're some giant dog, like a pit bull, where, you know, you're gonna put up a big fight, you know, like now we're gonna go balls deep into this one. But, you know, you got these little coyotes out there, you know, they look like little dogs, you know, like half the size of a husky. I'm like, I'm not afraid of no little coyote. Maybe if I was a little rabbit, I'd be afraid of a coyote, but I'm not a rabbit. I gotta go outside. You know, the night, yeah. God, I love mommy. Thank you so much, Mary. Yeah, Mary. Yeah, there we go. All right, guys. Dana's out here. You guys are awesome. Be sure to smash the like button, share this on social media, and don't forget I got a video uploading tonight. It's the corrected version with 8 minutes of missing content, probably about 5 or 6 illustrations to go along with my demonstrations and presentation, and some fixes in the audio. Totally fix the audio, and some fixes in some of the repetitiveness that I caught on to. I'm like, wait a minute. I am turning into Max Headroom. What the hell's going on here? So I fixed the issue. But that's going to be it. You guys are amazing. Hope you stay. What the hell was that? Speaker on there. The microphone is muted. But something went bleep. Did you hear something go bleep? I swear something made a noise in this house. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to encourage the whole subject of the paranormal, but something just did something in my house as I'm doing a live stream. And this is the beginning to where, you know, you hear a bleep and a blop, a light flickers, and a door starts to swing open. And then that's when I get the hell out of the house to go for a walk because I'm done with it. You're experiencing the beginning of what's going to progress into something else. And I figured now is the time to end this live stream before I bring attention to what I have been bringing too much attention to in the paranormal videos. So I think it's time for me to get the hell out of the house. This is it. I'm like, I'm tempting something in this house, and it's time for me to untempt it. So you guys stay safe out there. You're funny, crazy. Yeah. Maybe a part of me is gone crazy. Like I'm certifiable because of the experiences I've dealt with in my life. And try living in a house where shit's happening and people don't believe you half the time. Like, oh yeah, you're losing your mind. Then you start thinking maybe I'm losing my mind. He's like, well, this happened, that happened. I am not sharing it on YouTube anymore because when I do, people think I'm crazy. That sums it up in a nutshell. That literally sums up my life right now. Like shit happens and I'm afraid to share it on YouTube because people are gonna think I'm losing my damn mind. But you know, maybe I'll overcome that obstacle and not give a shit. You know, it's not like I'm going to be looking for any more jobs anymore because every time I try to find a job, you know, I either end up finding a company that's not worrying about their clients or customers because they're too worried about money, and I'm not a greedy person. I want to make sure that my clients are happy, my customers are happy, just like I want to make sure you guys are happy. I don't want to be compensated by YouTube if you're not happy. So, you know, if YouTube's going to compensate me for making a video that no one enjoys, then I feel like there's no fulfillment. There's no fun in that. And yeah, so if I get a couple dollars in the YouTube video, I mean, if you guys don't enjoy it, then it wasn't worth a couple of dollars. But if you enjoyed the video, then it was like, man, that's amazing. Because you enjoyed it, you're happy. Now I have $2 to go towards a bag of walnuts or something. It's kind of how that goes. But I need to get outside. I got to go walking. You guys are awesome. Anyway, stay safe. Like I said, new video. It's going to be titled along the line similar to the video last night, the way it was titled. But don't let that distract you or deter you from watching the video because, like I said, 8 minutes of content missing. Illustrations missing, a lot of important details missing, and audio has been fixed throughout the whole entire track and new tracks as well, because new audio tracks, if I were not to notice the issue, then it would have been a whole mess. It would have been a big mess. It just been like, forget it. You know, I'm not going for a third try here. But stay safe out there. Have a good night. Got to go for my walk. And that's going to be it for now in this live stream. Smash the like button if you enjoy my content or want to see future videos from me. Oh, man. I got to go. Now my throat's itching. I think I got pollen on me. I got pollen on me somehow. Take care, guys. What was that? I don't know. What? I better get the hell out of here. Take care. How am I doing this? Where the hell's the damn button?